Copy and paste in Microsoft Excel is as simple as pressing Ctrl+C on your keyboard. Then you navigate to the cell where you want to paste your content and then press Ctrl+V. But why is it that sometimes when you copy something, upon pasting, you realize that what you copied is not exactly what the software pasted? Or possibly you find an error while trying to copy a content from one cell to the other. You need not to worry, my friend, because in this very particular video, you and I together will discuss 18 ways to copy and paste content in Microsoft Excel. So whatever issue you are having with copy and paste, when you watch this video till the end, you will have such issues no more. So if you are super excited to learn how to copy and paste in Excel in 18 different ways, let's get started. If you take a close look at this very particular cells that has team A in it, you come to realize that there are so many things that is happening here. The first is that the font style has been changed from the default font, and then the field color is red, and then the width of this very particular cell is not as normal Excel width. So all of these features can be copied from this very particular cell and then pasted in another different cell. But how do you go about that? You can go about this by using Paste Special option in Microsoft Excel. So where do you locate Paste Special option? You can locate the Paste Special options in 3 places. Number 1, when you navigate to the Home tab of Microsoft Excel, make sure something has been copied already in order to activate the paste icon. So this is the paste icon here, which can be found under the Home tab of Microsoft Excel. So there is an arrow under this very particular paste icon. When you click on the arrow, and you can see series of paste options, immediately you highlight any, a brief description of what that icon does will pop up. For example, this one says paste, and this is formula. This is formula and number formatting. So that is how all of these paste options has different name attached to them, and they execute different functions. So that is number 1 way to locate the paste special options. Then the second way, make sure your text is still copied. Navigate to any cell of your choice and then you right click. Immediately you right click, you come to see there are different paste options here, which is similar to what we have seen earlier. Then under it, there is paste special text. When you click on it, it will navigate to the paste special dialog box. So this is the list of everything we'll be discussing today, and that is what captured the 18 different paste options that we'll discuss in this video. Then the third way to locate the paste special option is simply to use the shortcut for it, and the shortcut is pressing Ctrl+Alt+V. That's the shortcut, Ctrl+Alt+V. So make sure you press and hold Ctrl and Alt, then you press V, something like this. Ctrl+Alt+V, and the paste special options will pop up, and this is the window of everything we are discussing. Having understood these 3 different options on how to navigate to this paste special dialog box, I want you to put it at the back of your mind is that there is a simple and more faster way to go about this, and I will show you that when we get to that very particular section somewhere around this video. So keep watching. But irrespective of the method you choose, it will all take you to the same dialog box, which is this. Now, before we start discussing them one after the other, let's understand them in group. Now, this very particular paste special dialog box has paste options that are divided into 3 groups. The first is paste, which is what you see here. Now, everything under this very particular category is the first group. Then the second is operation, which is what you have seen here. Then everything under here makes you execute a particular operation. Then the third is anything below the second group, which is skip, transpose, and paste link. So these are the 3 major groups in paste special. Now, starting with the first, which is all. The all setting allows you to copy all settings and formats from one cell to the other. Now take for example, I have something like this. Now in this very particular cells that is being tagged September, It has a fill color to it, it has a font applied to it, and different settings. So if I want to copy all the settings from this very particular cell to another cell, all I have to do is press Ctrl C on my keyboard, navigate to the cell where I want to paste it, then I'll press Ctrl Alt V on my keyboard, and this dialog box shows up. So I will make sure all is selected, then I will just click OK, and that's it. It has copied all the settings from this very particular cell to this very particular cell. Now take for example, if you look at this very particular cell that has theme A, the width is so very wide. So when I want to copy all this, all I have to do is press Ctrl C on my keyboard, navigate to the cell where I want to paste this very particular content, then I press Ctrl Alt V in order to bring up the paste special dialog box, make sure all is checked, then I click OK, and it will automatically paste all the settings from the cell I have selected to the cell I have chosen. I hope you understand. Now when I say all the settings, I means the fill color, the column width, the text color, the font size, the font style, and so on and so forth. It copies everything, include any link data that can be found in the cell you have copied from to exactly where you pasted them. I hope you understand. Then the second is formula. Now imagine you have a particular cell that has formula in it. These very particular formula options allow you to copy only the formula in that very particular cell, and then you can paste the formula in another different cell. Take for example, if you look at this very particular cell here, I have a formula attached to it, and this is a basic formula, summation of L5 through L9. So I can copy this. The procedure for copying across all 18 paste options is the same. All you have to do is press Ctrl C. Then I will navigate to any cell where I want to paste this very particular formula, press Ctrl Alt V, and this dialog box shows up. But this time around, I will check formula. So when I click OK, it has copied the formula from the initial cell to this very particular cell. Now, when you look closely at the formula bar here, I still have my formula there. The only thing that changes is the parameters. While this one captures L5 through L9, then this very particular one captures T8 to T12. I hope you understand. But what it does is simply to copy the formula from this very particular place and pasted it in another different place. So that is how this one works. So the third is values. Now values, as the name implies, allow you to copy only the content you can see. So if you see one, even though there is a formula behind it, what it allows you to paste is that very particular one that you see. Now using this same cell as example, when you click on it, you come to realize that there is a formula inside of it. But when I copy by pressing Ctrl C and I navigate to any cell, now this time around, if I press Ctrl Alt V, I will check values. So if I press OK, it will only copy the values that I can see here, this very particular one, and it pastes them here. Now this value does not only works for numbers, it also works for text. So for example, I click here and I press Ctrl C, then I come down here, Ctrl Alt V, and then I check values, and then I click OK. It has copied only the text. I hope you understand. So only what I see, that is what it allows me to copy. Very simple. Then the next is format. Now format basically allows you to copy only the formatting that is applied to a particular cell in order for you to paste it in another different cell. Now take for example, if you look closely at this very particular cell that is tagged October, that is cell M4. I have different settings applied to it, the font style and so on. But if I want to copy only the format of that very particular cell, I'll press Ctrl C, the same procedure, navigate here, Ctrl Alt V, and this time around I will check format. When I click OK, it copies only the format and not the text. That is, it has no business to do with the content of the cell. Anything inside, it has no business to do with it. But it is the format that has been applied to that very particular cell that it copied. I hope you get the logic. So I can now choose to impute any text I want. If this is not what I want, I will change this to KB. If this is not what I want, I will change it to house. I can now impute anything I want, but the format has already been copied. Then the next is comment. As the name implies, you can make a comment in any very particular cell. If you want to know how to go about that, let me know in the comment section. What the comment paste option basically do is to allow you copy a comment from a particular cell that has comment in it and then paste the comment in another different cell. Now take for example, I have a particular cell that I commented on. Now this option will allow me to copy only the comment. I hope you understand. Only the comment from that cell and then paste it in another different cell. Now take for example, this very particular cell here has a comment on it and the comment says the answer for row and column must be the same. So if I want to copy only this comment, the procedure to copy remains the same. I'll press Ctrl C on my keyboard, navigate to the cell where I want to paste it, Ctrl Alt V. By this time around, I will check comments and notes. So if there is any comment and note in that very particular cell, it will be pasted here. So when I paste, there is nothing there visible for me to see. But when I navigate my mouse, that very same particular comment is now visible. Now this can be useful when you have series of totals to make and then you want to make a brief analysis or brief explanation on that very particular totals. Here I have a final total and then I said the answer for row and column must be the same. Now, if I want to repeat the same procedure for a total I will have here, then I can come here and press Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl Alt V here, then I check comment and note, then I click OK. That very particular comment or note has now been copied from this very particular cell and pasted here. Simple! If you are getting value out of this video, take a moment and like the video, share for others to benefit, and don't forget to follow or subscribe to this very particular channel. It of course make a difference. That is how we get to know what you like and what you don't like. The next option is data validation. Now data validation allows you to copy data validation roles from one cell to the other. But how do you know there's a data validation role in your spreadsheet? You can get to know about that when you navigate to the Home tab and then you navigate to Find and Replace and then you scroll down to Data Validation. So when you click on Data Validation, it will select any cell that has data validation roles apply on it. But how do you check what particular role is applied to it? You can go do that by going to the Data tab and then come to Data Validation and then you click on Data Validation, and this is it. This is the role that has been applied. And then the error alert says the input must be between 1 and 10. So this is the data validation rule that has been applied to it. I hope you understand. So the data validation option gives you the liberty to copy this very particular role into a different cell. Now, how do you go about that? The procedure for copying remains the same. So make sure all the cells are selected. If it is a single cell, you select one single cell and then you press Ctrl C on your keyboard. Navigate to the cell of your choice where you want to paste that validation rules. Then Ctrl Alt V to bring out the paste special dialog box. This time around, you check validation and then you click OK. Now it has copied the data validation rule that has been previously applied to this range of cell into this. So how do you know that this very particular cell has data validation? Procedure remains the same. Go to the Home tab and then click Find and Replace, scroll down to Data Validation and click on it once. This time around, these two cells are now being selected because they both have data validation applied to them. Now when I select only this very particular cell, go to Data, and then come down to data validation and I click on it. The same procedure, the same error message and the same setting I made earlier has now been copied from this very particular place to this very particular cell I have selected. So that's how data validation paste option works. The next is all using source theme. Now this allows you to copy the content and format applied to a particular cell using the theme that was applied to the source data. Now take for example, I navigate to this very particular cell. Then I'll press Ctrl C on my keyboard to copy, navigate to any cell of my choice which is empty, then press Ctrl Alt V, and then I'll select all using source theme and then I'll press OK. Now if you observe carefully, it has copied the content of this very particular cell to this very particular place. It has also copied the formatting to this very particular place also. Now using the theme that was applied to this very particular data as a source. So that is basically what it does. It works hand in hand or similar to the first option which we discussed, that is this very particular one, all. They work hand in hand together with each other. Then the next is all except borders. So this is very simple and straightforward. What it does is to copy all the content in a particular cell except the border that has been applied to it. Now take for example, if you look closely at this very particular cell, there is a black line attached to the four sides. That is what we refer to as border. So if you want to copy this, you press Ctrl C on your keyboard, navigate to the cell of your choice. Let's take for example this one, Ctrl Alt V to bring out the paste option dialog box, and then you check all except border, and then you press OK on your keyboard. So it has copied all the content in that very particular cell except the borders alone. Now the reason why you see 0 here is because it also copied the formula that was imputed in this very particular cell. But let's say for example this one has only text in it. Now let's quickly create a border for it. You can do that by going to the home tab, and then you navigate to this very particular icon. You click on it once, and then you apply all borders. Now it has applied border across these four sides. Now you can click on this very particular cell, Ctrl C to copy, navigate to this very particular cell, Ctrl Alt V, and then you check all except borders, and then you click OK. So it has copied all the content in that very particular cell except only the border. I hope you understand. It copies everything without the border. So the next is column width. As the name implies, it allows you to copy only the width of a particular cell to another. Now take for example, if you look closely, the width of a cell is not as wide as this. So I can come down here, Ctrl C to copy, navigate to this very particular cell, let's say this one here, Ctrl Alt V, then I will select column width, and then I click OK. So it has copied the width of that very particular column by expanding it to something I have here. I hope you understand. But if it is this width I want to copy, I'll click Ctrl C to copy, then I'll come down here, then I click Ctrl Alt V, then I click column width. Press OK, and it has already copied only the width. Now if the width is bigger like this, is smaller this way, let's say this very particular width is smaller this way, let's open it a little. Let's say this very particular width is smaller this way, Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl Alt V, then check on column width, and then click OK. It will just compress the width because it has copied the width of that first column to this very particular one. Simple. I hope you understand. Then the next is formula and number format. As the name implies, it allows you to copy the formula and the number format from one cell to another. Now take for example this cell here. This very particular cell has a number format applied to it. It also has a formula attached to it. So I can copy this by pressing Ctrl C on my keyboard, navigate to this cell, then I'll come down here and check formula and number format, and I'll click OK. Now it has copied the number format and the formula. That is the only thing it copied. And the reason why it is 0 is because there are no values above here. But let me just quickly input any random values at this very particular range for it to sum them up so you can see what we are talking about. Now if you look closely, you come to realize that this very particular number format, which is what we already have from our copy text, is applied here, and the formula has also been applied. But the font size is not included. So you get the logic. So it copies only the formula and the number format. Then the next allows you to copy the values and number format. That is the value that you can see, and then the number format applied to that very particular value. That is the only thing it allows you to copy. Now take for example this very particular cell. If I press Ctrl C, then I come down here, Ctrl Alt V, then I click values and number format, and I press OK. So it will copy the values from this very particular cell, which is 265272 from to here, and then it will also copy the number format that has been applied to it to this very particular place, and any other thing will not be copied. I hope you understand. Okay, the next option is All Merging Conditional Format. This allows you to copy a conditional formatting from one cell and then merge it with that of another different cell. Now take for example, if you look at these very particular values, it has no formatting applied to it. But let's quickly give it a conditional format. We can do that by selecting the range of values under the home tab. You navigate to the style group and then you click conditional format. And these very particular options here are different options that you can apply a conditional formatting to your data. But let's choose the first one, which says greater than, and let's put the values. It should be greater than to, let's say, 20,000. If the value is greater than 20,000, then it should give you a particular color, which is, let's say, this. Okay, and then click OK. So we have applied conditional formatting to this range of values. That is to say, if any of these values is greater than 20,000, then it should apply this very particular setting we want. And that is what it has done for this and this. Now, if I reduce this value to, let's say, 19,000, it changes from the format that is what previously applied to a different blank one. That's how conditional formatting works. So I can copy this conditional formatting setting and then apply it to this very particular one here. I can do that by clicking on this very particular cell, Ctrl C to copy, then coming down here, Ctrl Alt V, and then I check all merging conditional format. If I press OK, it has already copied the conditional formatting from the cell I have copied and then pasted the formatting in this very particular cell. So if I say this is 12,000 instead of 32, the formatting is gone. But if I say this is 42 instead of 12, take for example, the first one was changed to 4, the formatting applies to it. So that's what all merging conditional formatting does. It allows you to copy conditional formatting from one cell to the other. All right, we are done with the first group. But before we go to the next group, if you find value out of this very particular video, please kindly encouraging us by smashing the like button, subscribe to this channel in order not to miss any forthcoming tutorial, and share the video so others will get to benefit. It really makes a difference. That's how we get to know what you actually enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And that's how we get to improve on our videos on a daily basis. Now to the second group, if you copy any text, let's say this very particular one, and navigate to any cell of your chest and press Ctrl Alt V, we are done with the first group, which is all the explanation we have made earlier. Now coming down to the next group, which is operation. What it basically allows you to do is to execute a particular operation while copying and pasting. So it is no longer just to copy and paste. No, it is copy and minus, copy and add, copy and subtract, copy and divide. I hope you understand. So if I start with the first one, which says add, let's take for example, I have this value here, 5. And then in another different cell, let's say this one, I have 10. We all know that 10 plus 5 is 15. So if I want to copy this very particular cell to here, then I can use that very particular add option to copy this cell and then add it to this very particular cell, and I will have 15. But this is how it works. It is the paste cell that is executing what you copied. I hope you understand. So anything I copy here, this is what is executing this. Take note of this formula. It is very important. So I'll come down here, click Ctrl C, then I will navigate to this cell, Ctrl Alt V. Then this time around, I will check add. So when I check add and then I click OK, it has added what was previously there, which is 5 with 10. That is to say 5 plus 10, and then you have 15. Now any values you have, it will also do the same thing for it. Take for example, I have 19,000 here. I can copy this, come down to this very particular cell, Ctrl Alt V, then I will check add and then I click OK. And it will automatically add what is previously there, which is 89,000 if I'm not mistaken, plus 19,000, and that is why I have 108,000. That makes it fall under a conditional formatting rule that I have specified earlier. Then the next is to subtract, which is the opposite of adding. That is to say, if I have this very particular cell, I can copy any value from another cell, paste it here such that this very particular cell where I am pasting will now minus what I have copied. That is the pattern. the value inside where you are pasting is the one executing what you copied. That is to say, if I want to minus, this is minusing this, not this to minus this. This is two different things, so take note of it. So I can copy this very particular cell, come down here, Ctrl+V, then I'll click check subtract, and then I click OK. And then 15 has subtracted 10, which is why I have 5 as my answer. Then the third one is multiply, which also follow the same procedure. So I can just come down here and copy this text, come down to this very particular cell. So when I execute the operation and then I check multiply, what it basically do is that 5 will now multiply 10 and my answer will be 50. So if I click OK, 5 has multiplied 10 and I have 50 as my answer. The same thing applies to divide, which is the last one under operation group. I will copy this very particular cell, come down here, Ctrl+V, then I will check divide. So what is happening is that 50 is now dividing 10. That is 50 divided by 10. When I click OK, my answer is 5. Simple and straightforward, very easy and simple. If you actually understand this very particular step, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, if you are still watching this video, then congratulations, because we've done justice to the first group, we've also done justice to the second group, and now we are in the third group. Now the third group has only 3 options, which is the skip blanks, transpose, and paste link. Now the skip blanks basically skip any blank space that is available in the range of cells you are copying while it is pasting. Am I speaking in the language you don't understand? Let's take an example to see how it works. Now let's take, for example, these 2 cells are empty. Let's clear them up here. And these 2 cells are also empty. Let's clear them up here. Now this very particular empty cells is what we call a blank cell. So if I select this and then I click copy, then I'll come down here and then I want to paste what I copied in this very particular range. After clicking Ctrl+V and then select blank cells and then press OK, it will skip these very particular blank cells that are there. Now let me give you another example for you to understand. Now take, for example, I have these values here. After selecting this range, I press Ctrl+C to copy, then I come down here, Ctrl+V, then I check skip blanks. So what it does is that it will copy this very particular cell, and this cell, and paste them respectively. When it gets to this very particular cell, it will skip them. That is to say, it will skip 32,479 and 32,479 and continue from here. So to see this in action, check the skip blanks and then click OK. So as you can see, it has already skipped these 2 together and then jumped to this very particular one. That is a continuation from here and pasted them. So that is basically what it does. When it has a range of values and there is a blank space in it, it will skip those blank space and then continue pasting. As long as you check blank space in the paste special dialog box, it will definitely work. The next option is transpose. Transpose basically allows you to convert row to column or column to row. So if you have a data that is spread vertically, it can be transformed to look horizontal. And if it was previously horizontal, it can be converted to look vertical. Now take, for example, I have September down to December, which are spread in a row vertically. When I copy this very particular text, I can navigate to this very particular cell, Ctrl+V, then I would check transpose. If I click OK, it has now moved them to column for me. That is, it has now moved them horizontally. So that is what transpose means. If you have a text or value that appears this way, when you transpose them, it becomes something like this. And if previously it was like this, when you transpose them, it goes this way. So in essence, what transpose does is simply to convert row to column and column to row. So if I use these values, for example, which is a column. So if I use this value, for example, that is presented in column, and then I press Ctrl+C to copy. When I come down here, Ctrl+V, and then I check transpose and click OK. It has now moved them to row for me. Column to row, row to column. All right, let's compose a music. Column to row, row to column. Column to row, row to column. I hope you understand. That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, the last but not the least is paste link. Now what this option do is simply to paste the link of any cell you copy. Now take for example, if I click on this very particular cell, this is cell R6 and this one here with October is cell R7. The one with November is cell R8 and the one with December is what? Cell R9. Now when I copy this first cell by pressing Ctrl C on my keyboard and then I navigate to this very particular range of cells, press Ctrl Alt V. When I check paste link, what it does is simply to paste the link of that very particular cell. That is to say, it will paste the reference cell number. So when I click paste link, and this is exactly what it has does. Now when you click on this, you will come to see that this is the formula inside of it, equal to R6. That is the link that it has copied. When you click on this one too, the same thing apply, R7. When you click on this, this is R8, and when you click on this, this is R9. The way we normally make reference in the easiest way is to navigate to any cell. Now take for example, I want to get the data in this very particular cell, and this is cell M4. Then I will come down here, I'll press the equal sign in my keyboard to indicate that this is actually a formula. Then I can now press M4 and then hit enter. So it has copied the content from this very particular cell M4 and then pasted it here. Now instead of me to go manually by doing it this way, I could just come here and just copy this very particular text, Ctrl C to copy. I'll come down here, Ctrl Alt V, then I'll check paste link, and it has already pasted the particular link. When you click on this, this is the formula inside of it, N5. When you click on this, you have N6, N7, N8, N9. So this is the way you can paste the link of any particular cell using the paste option dialog box. If you remember, I earlier said there is a faster way to navigate to the paste special dialog box. So, and I promised to show you that fastest way somewhere within this very particular video. So this is the time for it. Now, when you press Ctrl Alt V on your keyboard after copying any particular cell, what you see is the paste special dialog box. But when you look closely at this paste special dialog box, you come to realize that for every option, there is a text that is underlined. So if you come closely, you see that A is underlined here, F is underlined here, V is underlined here, T is underlined here, C is underlined here, N is underlined here, and so on and so forth. So what this basically means simply is that when you are in this dialog box, if you press the letter that has been underlined, it will execute the option that the letter is assigned to. So that is to say, A is assigned to all. So while I'm in this dialog box, if I press A, it will now choose this very particular option. If I press F, it will choose this particular option. If I press V, it will choose this option. And then if I press U, it will choose this very particular option. Let's make it practical. I have copied the text in this. If I press U, while I'm in this dialog box, it has selected this. If I press F, it has selected this. If I press V, it has selected this. If I press X, it has selected all except border. So that is the shortest way. And then I will click OK. And that is it. Everything is now intact. So you can do this fastly by saying, come here, Ctrl C, you come here, Ctrl Alt V, F, enter. And that's it. It has copied the formula. You can be very fast by doing it this way. You come down here, Ctrl C, come down here, Ctrl Alt V, V, enter. All right, if you made it to the end, then congratulations. If you find value out of this video, please consider liking and share. Then you subscribe to this channel so that you'll be notified anytime we upload new videos. Above all, make sure you practice. Practice, practice, and practice. Because like the saying goes, practice makes perfect. So while you are practicing, if you possibly come across any error that you seem not to understand, don't worry, because we have already discussed this in another video. So click one of these videos showing on your screen in order to see how we go about to get rid of any errors that comes our way while using Microsoft Excel. So I will see you in that video, and bye for now.